Yo, what's up, boys? This is Vex from Crafty Vets MMA, and today I decided to do something little bit different and do a guide for UFC Freedom 250 for new fans of the UFC, aka the casuals. A little introduction to this, we will go over the unified MMA rules, at least the basics, and also like some basic info about the fighters that are gonna be on the card. This video may be a little longer to what you are used to from me, but we will see. Maybe it will be the same time as usual. So let's get into it. Let's go into the scoring and the rules first. So the ways to win the fight are KO, TKO, submission, decision, or a disqualification. KO is pretty straightforward. You just knock your opponent out either with a kick, elbow, knee, basically any part of your body you can knock your opponent out with. TKO is if you knock your opponent down to the ground or if you take him down, you can just pounce on him, you can elbow him, you can punch him, but you can't kick his face when he is on the ground. You can only kick the body when he's on the ground. Submission is if you take your opponent down or knock him down and then try to choke him out or use some kind of lever sort of on his limbs or basically anything. So that is on the ground usually. And then decision, that's when it goes to the judges' scorecards that you see on the screen. And I will explain that right now. So the rounds are scored always 10-9, 10-8, or a 10-7. 10-9 is the most common way to win a round. It's basically when you won the round but wasn't like dominant or anything. It was just you won the round and the judges thought you won the round. The other thing is you can have a round that scored a 10-8, and that's when the round is very dominant, like when your opponent basically didn't do anything and you just dominated him for the whole round and was close to finishing the fight. 10-7 is very rare in mixed martial arts, but it's basically when you dominate your opponent in the round to the point where it's almost like not fair that the fight wasn't finished. That's like a definition of a 10-7 round in my opinion. These scorecards, as you can see, the judges were split on I think round one mostly. Yeah, two judges had it for Umar and one judge had it for Valishvili. And you can basically see how the rounds play out. So this was a 5-round fight, so it was 5 rounds. The fights can be either 3 rounds, the regular way, or 5 rounds in main events and title fights. So that would be it for the rules, I think. And obviously, the judges prioritize effective striking, significant shots, damage, and effective grappling, obviously. So if you like take someone down and just hold them down and don't do nothing, it isn't scored as high as if you outstrike your opponent on the feet with strikes that actually matter and cause some damage, you know? Some common fouls are like eye pokes, groin strikes, headbutts, fence grabbing, or biting, or attacking the head of a grounded opponent. So you basically cannot kick your opponent when he is down. Cannot kick him in the head. So that would be it for the rules. And now let's do a little story time about the fighters so you can maybe decide who to root for on this card if you are a new fan. The first fight will be, I think, Derrick Lewis versus Josh Hokit. This fight is basically Derrick Lewis, a guy who has the most knockouts in the sport, versus Josh Hokit. He is a new prospect. I personally don't like him, but he has a like very WWE type of persona, and he has all the eyes on him as of currently. They are both pretty entertaining fighters. I prefer Lewis's style because he like finishes the fights a lot, contrary to Josh Hokit, who can finish fights, but for a heavyweight, he doesn't have the type of power that Derrick Lewis does. The other fight will be Diego Lopez versus Steve Garcia. And this fight will be really good, guys. It's both guys with a decent amount of power. Steve Garcia especially has a lot of power. But Diego Lopez has a good chin. That means like he has a very good durability, you know. So that will be really fun in my opinion. Possibly fight of the night. And yeah, that's about it. Obviously, you can see the countries. He is Brazilian and he is from the USA. Then you have Bo Nickel versus Kyle Dawkins. This fight and the fighters I don't have much to say about. Bo Nickel was like a very highly regarded prospect in the UFC. He recently lost a fight via a knee to the body. He lost a lot of fans because of that. Because, let's be real, MMA fans are kind of stupid at times. And he will be fighting Kyle Dawkins, who is awesome on the ground and has a lot of submissions. Bo is mainly a wrestler, but he doesn't go for subs as often, and Kyle Dawkins is like overall very, very good on the ground. This fight is closer than people think. I still think it's ultimately a layup fight for Bo Nickel. I think he should get the Dawkins with no problem. I guess via a submission or a TKO. But yeah, this fight is just here because Dana White, the president of the UFC, for some reason, loves Bo Nickel. Mauricio Rufy versus Michael Chandler. This fight is very interesting on paper. A lot of people are saying it's not even close and that Rufy is gonna rush through Michael Chandler. So again, some info about the fighters. Rufy is Brazilian, Michael Chandler is American. Rufy was part of the group in MMA, they were calling themselves the Fighting Nerds. He recently left this group so he can improve outside of it. A lot of the other members weren't too happy about it, but that's a story for another time. Michael Chandler is basically a crafty veteran. He fought in other organizations for most of his career called Bellator. He was a champion there, I believe. Unfortunately, when he came to the UFC, he was kind of post his prime, but he also fought the highest level of competition, like Justin Gaethje, who is gonna be in the main event today. You will come to that shortly. And the other notable names he's fought, for example, are Dustin Poirier, Tony Ferguson, and people like this. All very skilled fighters. Michael Chandler has decent wrestling and also decent striking. He's very explosive and he has a lot of power, so he can catch Mauricio. With that being said, his fight IQ is holding him back. Like, he doesn't do the smartest decisions in the fights. And if you compare that to Mauricio Rufy, he is very light on his feet. He has nice head movement. He has very crisp striking. He has also a decent amount of power. And yeah, this fight is gonna be, I think, very entertaining, and both guys have a chance to win. Moving on, we have a fight with Sean O'Malley versus Ayman Zahabi. This fight is basically, I would say, a layup for Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley was a former champion in the UFC. He won his most recent fight, but he lost 2 fights before that, both to the same guy called Merab Valishvili. Sean O'Malley is mainly a striker, so he has nice kicks, nice elbows, sort of, very good knees, and overall is a little similar. Nah, scrap that, he is not similar to Rufy. And against him will go Ayman Zahabi, who, in my opinion, isn't very good, but he's arguably on a 2-fight losing streak to, well, not very good guys, like a 39-year-old, I think, Jose Aldo, and Chito Vera, who is just a guy with an iron chin but doesn't really do much. Sean O'Malley dominated Chito Vera before, and Ayman Zahabi had a really close fight with him. Yeah, obviously, as you see, Sean O'Malley is from the USA, and Ayman Zahabi is from Canada. There is nothing much more to say. I think this will be a pretty one-sided fight. However, Ayman has a chance to win if he uses his groundwork accordingly and if he comes there with a perfect game plan. Moving to the co-main event, we have Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane. I think you have probably heard of Alex Pereira even if you are not a mixed martial arts fan, and I doubt you heard about Cyril Gane. Basically what's happening in this fight is Alex Pereira is aiming to become the first free division champion in the UFC. I kind of forgot to explain weight divisions, so just stay with me for this. We have flyweight, we have bantamweight, we have featherweight, we have lightweight, we have welterweight, we have middleweight, we have light heavyweight, and we have heavyweight. Alex Pereira was middleweight when he started in the UFC, won a belt there. Then he moved up to light heavyweight, won a belt there, and currently he is trying to move up to heavyweight to get his third belt as the first guy in UFC history. His opponent will be Cyril Gane, and I think this fight is gonna be mainly a striking match. They are both very good kickboxers, especially I would say Alex. I think he was a champion in glory kickboxing back in the day. With that being said, it's not a really good stylistic matchup for him. Cyril Gane is pretty fast for a heavyweight, when Alex is pretty planted. So this is a really close fight in my opinion. It can be very entertaining, or it can just be really boring, one strike at a time. There's really multiple ways this fight can go. Either way, I'm really excited for it, and I'm rooting for Alex Pereira. For the backstories, especially for Alex, he is Brazilian, and his backstory was he was working in a tire shop and was an alcoholic back in the day. Then he started kickboxing, and long story short, he had beef in kickboxing with one very high level MMA guy named Israel Adesanya. They fought in kickboxing. Alex defeated him both times, one of which I thought should have went to Adesanya. He knocked him out the second time, so it doesn't really matter. And Adesanya basically went to MMA, and then had like an interview where he said Alex Pereira will be saying somewhere in a bar, I beat that guy one time. That motivated Alex to chase Israel Adesanya to the UFC. Long story short, he beat him, then Adesanya beat him, then Alex moved up. With Cyril Gane, he's a cheater. He cheats a lot in fights, especially with in his most recent fight, he poked a guy in the eye, and the guy still isn't cleared to fight, and he does cheat a lot. He punches guys in the back of the head, which is also not allowed. He's a very dirty fighter, and I hope Alex Pereira beats him. Moving to the main event, we have Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. Ilia Topuria is kind of a difficult guy to pinpoint because, as you see, he represents Georgia, but he also, I think, represented Spain and was born in Germany or something like that. He lives in Spain right now, but he is representing Georgia. And I think this fight is very one-sided for Ilia. Gaethje has ways to win. It will stay mostly on the feet, but basically Ilia Topuria is a new hungry guy who knocked out 3 legends in a row. In Alexander Volkanovski, he is currently champion at featherweight. Max Holloway, former BMF champion and a champion. And was the other guy, Charles Oliveira, and he was the first guy to knock him out cold. Compared to Justin Gaethje, he is getting older. He is like 38 years old. He's not in his prime anymore, and to be fair, he shouldn't even be fighting for the title right now, but they are fighting because Gaethje is the interim champion. The interim champion means if the champion isn't able to defend his belt, they make another belt, and the 2 guys fight for it, and then the belts, basically when the current champion is cleared to fight, they basically fight and unify both of the belts. So this will be a little guide for the casuals. It's obviously not very deep, but I hope you guys liked it. And if you have any pointers or if you want to ask any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. I will answer any question you guys have. Thank you for watching. See ya in the next one. Peace.